Good morning, internets. It is a drizzly, overcast morning here in Las Vegas, Nevada for the morning commute. I know that a few of you noticed last week I was sort of absent. I made, I think, only one video and got it up. And the reason for that was that I got waylaid by sickness. I work with kids, and when you work with kids, you can get exposed to some pretty impressive bugs, and I feel as though I was the victim of bioterrorism last week. I had one confirmed case of strep and one confirmed case of influenza at the same time in the same room with me, and those two bugs converged and conspired to give me, what's the science behind that? I think strep plus influenza equals bubonic plague. And so I spent the last several days feeling so sick I was worried I wasn't going to die. And yeah, so that was, my eyes are all puffy and couldn't stop with the sniffles, and the cough is bad, still have a little bit of a cough, and I couldn't make videos. I didn't even make it to the car show on Eastern on Saturday morning, and you guys know me, I never miss it. But I just cold sweats, it was gross, could not go. But, you know, I'm back at it this morning. Just so you guys know, we had a starting temperature this morning at 53 degrees in Las Vegas, and my starting battery range was 37 miles. So, I gotta get better and start including that in the beginning of the video, but there it is. So 53 degrees, 37 miles on the 2012 Chevy Volt Premium, since I've had so much interest about the temperature and how it affects battery range. A lot of you have been kind enough to share your numbers with me. I know a lot of you out there on the East Coast and in the Midwest are dealing with these like 10-degree temperatures, and which is absolute madness, and your volts are giving you like 19 miles or 21 on the battery. So we know that the batteries hate cold. I'll be interested to see how the batteries handle the Las Vegas summer coming up here in just a few short months. Our summers start early and go long, and it's my least favorite time of year. So I'm interested to see how the Volt handles itself in that kind of serious heat. So yeah, this morning in Las Vegas, it's actually overcast, which keeps it a little warmer. You know, the clouds sort of insulate, and that's nice. And it's supposed to rain today for the first time in over 120 days, which is a big deal for us. We've had an extremely dry season out here, and I know what you're thinking. Oh, it's desert, it's supposed to not rain. Not really. There's an old saying, in the Mojave Desert, there are two ways to die. You can die of thirst, or you can drown. And that's because it's only dry for so long before we get the kind of rain where we have a flash flood. And Las Vegas is set up for flash floods, so it's not like the biggest deal in the world. Like, just stay where you're at for 20 minutes if it's raining really hard, and then the city will do its thing. Like, it's supposed to drain. We have great drainage all over the place here. A lot of our city parks are actually built as catch-alls for the rain, and you know, it's set up for it. But we haven't had any rain in a really long time. So I really hope that we get some rain today out here. Lord knows we need it. And yeah, I'm trying to get back into the swing of things and making videos and stuff, but it's a little hard to come back after being sick. There's no major breakthroughs that I know of right now for technology with electric cars. Tesla's made no amazing announcements in the last 3 days that I'm aware of. So this is just my Monday morning video on the way to work. Just wanted to let you guys know where I've been, what's going on, what the temperature is and the ranges in the Volt, of course, and how things have been going. It's been nutty. Survived the holiday season, getting into 2018, and I'd like to know how everybody else's year is going so far. It was hard to start out the year being sick, you know, I mean, and then I get sick, and then I bring it home, and it's this whole big weird thing. A lot of people don't really realize this, but our flu season here in Las Vegas, our flu and cold season, is brutal. And I've talked to people on the internet who are like, oh, it can't be that bad because it's not that cold there. Well, the cold isn't actually, like, colder weather doesn't make you sick. The colder weather doesn't inherently carry more germs. Colder weather doesn't inherently make you more susceptible to illness. What colder weather does is it makes people congregate and collect in, more and more people collect in smaller and smaller spaces. They're not spread out as much, and they share more air, and they're all touching the same doorknobs a little bit more, and cold air creates social conditions which create more ideal conditions for viruses and bacteria to spread. So that, number one. Okay, so you have winter all over the world, you know, in the northern hemisphere, and so we have people getting their cold and flu season on in all of their respective cities. You incubate a bug for 10 to 14 days before you have symptoms. You have it and you're contagious. That's what the trouble is with sickness, and why they say wash your hands all the time. Makes a big difference. So say some guy in Buffalo, New York gets a really nasty case of the flu, and he doesn't know he has it. He's incubating it, but he doesn't know he has it. And he has a business trip to come out here to Las Vegas. He's going to get on a plane. He might change planes 2 or 3 times to get here. While he's on that plane, he's going to come into contact with people who have come into contact with people who have come into contact with people from more than 4 continents. It's fast. This exponential growth thing happens, and everybody from all over the world, because we're a tourist destination, comes here and brings their germs to our hotels and casinos here, which are staffed by locals, which then come into contact with your germs. Those locals take those germs home to their families, namely their kids. Those kids then take those germs to school and give them to people like me, and that's sort of how that works. So our cold and flu season out here is outrageous because we have bugs from all over. Your local community will, you know, you get that time of year, especially in small towns, man. When I was growing up at Sparks, everybody would kind of get the same bug at around the same time, and then it would seem like the whole town, everybody knew, would sort of get it and then get over it within 3 weeks, and then Sparks was sort of done being sick. And you can count on that in small towns. Man, not here. As soon as you get done with one bug, there's a new, more exotic, more strong bug that gets brought into town, and everybody gets laid out, and it slams productivity for everybody. And I can watch the phenomena occur on my social media with people on Facebook saying, like, you know, I'm sick, or can anybody recommend any good home remedies for this and that, or what do you do, you know, if you're running a fever and cough, and like you can watch it happen. So our cold and flu season here starts early, it goes long, and we get bugs from all over the world, and it's just really, really weird confluence of germs that you wouldn't think about. Now, I never go to the Las Vegas Strip, ever. Let me emphasize that, ever. When you live in Las Vegas and you have friends and family that live outside of Las Vegas and they come into town, a lot of times they want you to play tour guide. They're like, oh, come on, let's go to the Strip, it'll be so fun. And you're like, no. Locals do not go to the Strip. We go around the Strip. We go under the Strip. Occasionally we'll go over the Strip, but we do not go to the Strip. So even though I never go to the Strip, it's the center of everything in Las Vegas. It's the center of all the money, and everybody knows somebody who works at a casino, even if you don't personally work at a casino, or who works in the restaurant industry, or who works in the service industry, because that's what this town is fueled by. So one way or another, you're going to end up connected to people who end up connected to the tourism, and it's fast how fast those germs spread. And when you're working with kids, doubly so. Kids wash their hands a lot less often, and they come into contact with other kids who know where their parents work, or it's just this crazy thing. I don't really know what the point of my little rant here is. It's just this situation every winter that happens with this unavoidable Vegas funk that kind of, it gets into the air, and people touch their sticky doorknobs back home, and then they come here and they make all of our doorknobs in Las Vegas super sticky, and we want them to keep doing that, keep coming here, and keep bringing your germs, because when you bring your germs, you also bring your money, and Vegas needs that. We really like the way our taxes work here, and because of the casinos, we don't have to deal with state tax and things like that. So it's this catch-22 where you're like, tourists, because they walk slow, or they bring germs, or whatever, or they assume that all people who live in Las Vegas live in casinos and hotels. I still hear this one. This is weird to me. This is like grown-ups that still believe in the tooth fairy. I don't get that. Like, Las Vegas is a big city. It's this sprawling metropolis, and we do have this, this freak show in the middle of it called the Las Vegas Strip, and it's world famous, and it's very important. It's a huge center of commerce, and it's where all the money's at. But like, all of the people who live in Las Vegas live in houses, in neighborhoods, and their children go to schools just like your kids go to schools, and they have like dentist appointments, and we shop at grocery stores, and we don't all live in hotels and casinos. So just so you guys know, it rains in Las Vegas. It needs to rain in the desert. It floods here. And not everybody who lives in Las Vegas lives in hotels or casinos. And not everybody who lives in Las Vegas works at a hotel or casino. And in fact, the vast majority of us don't. There's, you know, a few million people here, and it's a very, very diverse environment. How's the cold and flu season going for you guys where you're at? Has it been especially brutal? I know that the winter in you know, the East Coast, particularly the Northeast and the Midwest, has been absolutely record-setting and totally brutal this year. I couldn't believe some of the numbers I was seeing were like the high for the day was 0. That's madness to me. I grew up in a place where, I mean, in the Reno Sparks area in northern Nevada, where we could go, you know, many weeks at a time without the weather getting above, I mean, highs in the 30s. You know, when I was a kid and the winters were more severe up there. But some of the things that I'm seeing now, like the highs, they would love to reach the 30s. That's outrageous to me. So, like, are you guys noticing especially bad cold and flu out there? You know, what are you guys doing to combat it? You guys who drive electric cars in those environments, I want to know more about your range. Like, what kind of changes have you noticed in your electric battery range due to the colder temperatures? I know a lot of people are seeing lower range. Does anybody out there drive a Tesla in a very, very cold place who can explain to me or share with me whether or not you've experienced any loss in range, what that loss in range is, if you can give it to me in a figure of number of miles that you've lost, or a percentage of range that you've lost, or maybe you haven't lost any range at all. I just don't have that information. I just truly don't know, and I'd like to know firsthand from people who actually do have the cars. If you have any of the BMWs, they have a cute electric car. Their little i3 is this cute boxy little thing with a wacky dashboard. I actually thought those were really cool cars. Let me know what your range is like in those things. In your Nissan Leaf, you know, I want to know. How's everybody doing with the colder weather? Has anybody been through a summer yet? And can you explain to me what your range is in the summer months? I have had a couple of people share. I'd like to have a couple of people more, so I can know what I have to look forward to. Especially those of you who are in places like this, in places like Southern Nevada, in places like Phoenix, where it gets unreasonably hot places in Texas. I don't like the summer months anyway, so I'm really hoping that you know, the extreme summer heat here doesn't trash my range on top of already being crappy summer weather. And other than that, I think that's just my morning rambles, guys. It's been an interesting couple of days, but I'm looking forward to getting back into it. If anybody has any words of Monday motivation or fun jokes you can share with me to help cheer me up and keep me going today, that'd be great, because the fatigue is real. I feel like garbage. I'm going to get through the day and do my best, but sometimes that's all we can do. And I think that's about it. If this is your first time at the channel, most of the time my videos are more interesting than this, but thanks for hanging in there. Please consider subscribing right around here, and here's some other videos we think you'll enjoy right down here. My name is Catherine with EVs of Nevada, and I hope everybody has a really great day. Please remember to like, subscribe, and smile.